Over 7,500 individuals have been street released over the last 13 days, and the numbers show no sign of slowing down. Sunday, myself, I went to the Oceanside Transit Center where people are being dropped off in Border Patrol vans, and the first question they asked is, where am I? How do I get a ride to the airport? Well, you've been driven all the way up to the Oceanside, and now you want to go back down to the airport, which is great. So it's kind of puzzling why the Oceanside site. But our immigration system, I think, is broken, and people far and wide are capitalizing on the federal government's ineptness on immigration. In the absence of a sufficient federal government resources and support, it's clear we, San Diego County, we can't just continue down this path. And so we must declare this current situation a humanitarian crisis. We already face a severe homelessness crisis, and dropping off into thousands of individuals into our streets actually diverts our focus and diverts the focus of some of the nonprofits and the charities and people that are actually helping the migrants at the drop-off site. It takes their focus off homelessness and puts them towards a federal issue and that the federal government should be handling. Like many others, our region is beyond its capacity for acceptance of asylum seekers, providing them essential services and resources and support for those seeking refuge within our borders. We are a community that values compassion. We have empathy, and we must acknowledge the practical limits of our own capacity to meet the needs of those who arrive in our region. We urgently require federal assistance and resources, and a comprehensive strategy to address this situation effectively, ensuring the well-being of our community and for those seeking shelter within it. One of the things I noted with Oceanside is I understand the city of Oceanside has been giving out hotel vouchers to some people and individuals that maybe they can't get a flight until tomorrow, or they can't get in touch with their sponsor, so they're using homeless vouchers for the migrants, which is fine if we got room, but I don't know that that's not the best use of our resources regionally. And as our nonprofits and organizations, charities and churches are funded to assist us in those homelessness issues, but they have stepped up in this crisis, and we are very, very, very grateful. I noticed in Oceanside at the North County Transit District Station, there was booths set up, there was a generator, they couldn't get it running, I got it started for them, and helping out and helping people get to their final destinations. I talked to an individual who came from Colombia, and through an interpreter, I asked him, where he was going. He said he had a cousin in Denver, but his cell phone was dead. He couldn't get in touch with his sponsor or his cousin. He needed to get to the airport, and it just seems to be a continuing story. But I think the federal government must send additional resources and fix their immigration process. I think it's neither humane nor compassionate. Most of the migrants don't speak English, and they lack the resources to reach their intended destinations, but they're simply dropped off in our county and left without any resources. So the county cannot and should not be providing additional resources. This responsibility falls squarely on the federal government. If you want us to fund these resources, what program do you want us to take it from? And nobody wants us to have any money taken from their program, but the federal government really should step up and do this. And quite frankly, it's bittersweet, I guess, that other cities throughout the country are having this same problem. And hopefully we'll get some immigration reform. Hopefully, Washington, D.C. will wake up. I spoke to our congressman for about a half an hour on the phone on Saturday. And unfortunately, there was no immediate solutions. He said they were working on long-term solutions, but immediately there wasn't any help in sight. So, not out of weakness, but out of strength, I think recognizing our practical limits as a local government and demanding the federal government step up to address the problem they've created. Again, this is not a Democrat, this is not a Republican issue, this is federal government's responsibility. So I urge my colleagues today in joining us and join me in calling on the federal government to step and address the problem that they have created that currently has no end in sight.